If you have a mortgage, car payment, credit card balance, or loan, does that mean you're living outside God's will? The answer may surprise you. The Bible doesn't simply say, never borrow money, but it gives us a serious warning. Proverbs 22:7 says, "The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender." Notice that word, servant. Why would the Bible describe a borrower that way? Because when you borrow money, you're making a promise with income you haven't earned yet. And once you understand that, you may never look at debt the same way again. Let's look at what the Bible actually teaches about debt and how biblical wisdom can lead us toward financial freedom. The real cost of debt. Imagine receiving your paycheck on Friday. Before you spend $1, your mortgage takes some, your car payment takes some, your credit card takes some, another loan takes some. Suddenly, you realize you're working today to pay for yesterday. That's the danger Proverbs 22:7 is warning about. Debt doesn't only affect your bank account, it affects your choices. You might want to leave a job, but you can't afford to. You might want to save, but your payments consume the money. You might want to give more, invest, or prepare for retirement, but yesterday's decisions are demanding today's income. That's why Scripture says, "The borrower is servant to the lender." Part of your future freedom has already been promised away. So, is borrowing a sin? We need to be careful here. The Bible strongly warns about debt, but it does not simply say that every act of borrowing is sinful. There's a difference between responsible borrowing and reckless borrowing. Someone responsibly financing a home is not necessarily in the same situation as someone repeatedly using credit cards to maintain a lifestyle they cannot afford. So perhaps the better question isn't, "Can I borrow this money?" Ask, "What will this debt require for my future?" Because today's purchase can become tomorrow's burden. Jesus taught us to count the cost. In Luke 14:28, Jesus says, "For which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counteth the cost?" Jesus was teaching about discipleship, but there's a powerful principle here. Count the cost before you commit. And this is where many financial mistakes begin. We ask, "Can I afford the monthly payment?" instead of asking, "Can I actually afford what I'm buying?" Those are two very different questions. Before borrowing, ask, "How much will this cost after interest? What happens if my income changes? Will this prevent me from saving? Will this debt create unnecessary pressure on my family?" Sometimes, wisdom means having the courage to say, "I can buy it, but not yet." The two-bucket principle. Proverbs 21:20 says, "There is treasure to be desired, and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man spendeth it up." Think about your money as two buckets. One says, "Today." The other says, "Tomorrow." If everything God places in your hands goes into today, eventually, tomorrow arrives, and there's nothing waiting for you. Biblical wisdom teaches us not to consume everything we receive. We need margin. Money for emergencies, money for future needs, money to give, money to save and invest wisely. Financial freedom doesn't always begin when your income doubles. Sometimes it begins when you learn to manage what is already in your hands. If you're already in debt, maybe you're listening to this thinking, "That's me. I'm already buried in payments." Then start here. Don't panic. And don't hide from the numbers. Write down exactly what you owe. Create a realistic budget. Stop creating unnecessary new debt while trying to eliminate the old debt. Build a small emergency cushion so every unexpected expense doesn't immediately go back onto a credit card. Then begin paying down what you owe consistently. It may take months. It may take years. But remember, every debt you eliminate gives a piece of your future income back to you. Small financial decisions repeated consistently can completely change your financial life. Money is a stewardship issue. Biblical financial freedom isn't simply about becoming rich. It's about becoming faithful. Can you manage what's already in your hands? Can you delay something you want today for something more important tomorrow? Can you distinguish between a need and a desire? Can you make financial decisions based on wisdom instead of pressure, comparison, or impulse? Sometimes we ask God for more, while He's teaching us how to manage what He's already placed in our hands. So, is debt a sin? The Bible gives us something more useful than a simplistic answer. It gives us a warning. The borrower is servant to the lender.